Hey everyone, Sean here, and today in this video I'd like to sit down and talk about Genshin 3.2, but before we really get into the meat and bones of this whole thing, what is going on with Hoyoverse? There's been quite a bit of leaks throughout the internet, especially on Twitter today. Luckily I wasn't spoiled on like story or anything like that, but I heard that, there was such a big leak that the story stuff has been coming out somewhere, and I definitely, took a look at this stuff for the banners and stuff like that, so it does look interesting. But I will take it with a grain of salt just in case, as with anything else like that relating, as always, until the official stuff comes out. At this point, it just seems to become the norm, right? You just get information about the characters, their abilities, and everything else in between, bosses and stuff like that. A lot of stuff has been leaking, and yet Hoyoverse has not done all that much to extinguish these leaking sort of problems. They don't even try to put duct tape around the old pipes, you know what I'm saying, the hoses. They just kind of just let it be for some reason, but they kind of nitpick at some people on YouTube and I guess on Twitter as well. But there's still leakers out there, and this one today has been pretty major, it seems like. And I don't know what's up with that, man. It's like they make billions of dollars, and yet the security is just so flimsy that this has become the norm at this point, to just know in advance of how, or what the character's gonna be like, how the banners are gonna look, which does help to save up for primo gems. Save up ahead of time. Hopefully, Hoyoverse will try to get ahead of that and just go ahead and release information about the characters. Definitely not so much about the stories, but that would be really nice for the characters, right? To help, alleviate the excessive anxiety by giving us information ahead of time, so we know what to save, we know what to expect. But anyways, let's go ahead and get right into 3.2, the live stream. So obviously right away, I do want to say this too regarding to 3.2 in these presentations. I actually do overall prefer the higher end of things when it comes to these presentations. No offense or nothing disrespectful or anything like that towards the English VAs. When it comes to us, anyway, the Western audiences, it just I just find it more engaging. Funny enough, when the developers are talking, they're talking about all this stuff, versus when the VAs are talking, the English voice actors are talking. I don't know. It just seems like the information delivered here or written for them seems to be just all filler to kind of extend out the time. I don't know what it is that whenever the VAs are talking, with the little avatars and stuff like that, I just almost completely check out. Unless it's like about the character's abilities and stuff like that, then that stuff does get interesting, of course. But everything else, I just like it's so disengaging in my opinion. So hopefully maybe there'll be like a in between, like a middle ground of sorts, because I'd rather just see the developers talking at that point with the English subtitles and everything. That's fine with me. Even though I don't speak Chinese or listen to Chinese or anything like that, there's subtitles, so I can just read my way through it. That's fine. And it just seems like it's a lot more engaging that way to me anyway. But I don't know. What about you guys? Let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys prefer, like the presentations with the VAs or the presentations with the developers? Leave those comments in the section below, because I'm leaning more towards the developers. Again, no offense or nothing, no disrespect towards the VAs, ain't nothing of the sort. I just prefer that content over this sort of format of content. I don't know, it's just something about it. Just can't really get into these sort of presentations anymore when the English VAs are talking and stuff like that. Maybe it's the look of it. I don't know. and besides the dialogue as well. So, but anyway, nonetheless, the banners have been presented once again, but this one, unfortunately, for me, kind of missed the mark because Nahida's banner, and along with Yoimiya, of course, who once again is getting screwed over. And Yoimiya, along with Nahida, I mean, she's getting screwed over once again because I think Yoimiya was on a banner or with a dual banner with someone else that was also super wanted. So she's kind of getting screwed over in a way once again, but it's a rerun, so I guess not too much of a hassle or deal or anything like that. But I mean, for the Yoimiya Wanters, I mean, that kind of sucks because you do have to pick between Nahida, who is the Dendro Archon, and the Yoimiya, which is a really good character. I mean, let's get that out of the way. But, you know, uh, I think the Archon is someone you want rather than a DPS Pyro bow user. So, she'll come around again, but yeah, you definitely don't want to miss out on the Dendro Archon because her ability seems to be pretty powerful. Her kit seems to be pretty good overall, from what I've been seeing over time. And the next one, of course, part two is Yaimiko. And of course, Child, who is coming around once again in a rerun. They're both reruns. But anyway, what's interesting about this one, of course, is that they're deciding to stick Layla into these banners because, of course, that gives people a reason to go in these banners, right? Because of Layla, she's the new 4-star character. They kind of like did that with Rosaria. She kind of had her own sort of like banner focus in a way, and it just stuck the random 5-star in there. I think at the time, 5-star wasn't even brand new by any means, and so we kind of like stuck in this sort of similar situation. This time being with Yaimiko and of course Child. Funny because Child is the Hydro DPS user, and Yaimiko is the Elemental Mastery character, right? You know, the newest meta has been Elemental Mastery. It's been working really well with the blooms and everything. And of course, Child can create the blooms. And then you have Yaimiko to set them off with her Elemental Mastery bonus stuff. And if you want to build her that way, it is definitely possible. And you can score some real juicy hits with the hyper blooms and stuff like that. So they definitely know what they're doing, and they on top of that stuck Layla in there, who is the pretty much the kind of got a cryo Zhongli, 4-star Zhongli almost. Just pump up HP, and I think you'll have a pretty strong shield. Plus the shooting stars is pretty interesting little additional thing in the mechanic. About that, she is pretty much HP all the way, tenacity. I think that's a pretty safe set to start off with, and as the discovery happens with Layla, maybe the things will change a little bit. But that's pretty much like the set that kind of comes to mind, just based off of her bonuses and stuff like that. So, well, overall, of course, when it comes to the banners, like, it does kind of suck that we don't get Layla in the first half because I'm really gonna go in on Nahida. So it would have been nice to get a new 4-star character to go along with that, along the way. And I think I think the plan for this one is that I'm gonna try to C1 it, right? I've saved up money and thought, hey, I mean, the Dendro Archon is around. I'm still playing the game. I still really do like it. I put a lot of time into it, so hey, I mean, I think it'll be okay to put in some money in this banner this time around, just right off the start, without going in there, see if I get her or not, and then throw in the burn the top up bonuses and stuff like that. No, I'm probably planning to likely burn the biggest top up bonus, and then accordingly, depending on if I get the character or not, calculate it, and then go off from there. But yeah, probably the first time I really want to C1 somebody. Nahida's ability, from what it sounds like in C1, looks or sounds really good. So I think So constellations for the archons do make them all the better, right? So I think, I mean, maybe with the exception of Zhongli, I mean, do you really need two pillars? I don't know. I guess it depends on your style of things, your play style. But I guess the pulsating thing could be a factor as to why the C1 could be good. But anyway, I guess it depends if you have like albedo and stuff like that, because the geostructures do resonate with each other. But anyway, that's pretty much the gist of it. It just sucks that Layla is not in the first part, but you kind of know why, and they definitely know what they're doing. Of course, though, I'm not going for the weapons. I think this time around is super unnecessary. I think nahida will be fine. I think it would be better to just try to power up the character rather than just get the weapons because of how like the pity works and stuff like that. It's kind of unfortunate, but that's just the way it is because the guaranteed is by the third pity, right? So if you don't if you don't get the weapons by the first two pity, yeah, you have to wait one more pity, just to be able to be guaranteed the weapon. When it comes to characters, of course, you just have to lose the 50-50 once, and then you're guaranteed to get that character. But you have to lose twice to be guaranteed for the weapon. Now, of course, you always get lucky. That's has happened to me quite a few times. So maybe maybe if I have that money left over, but otherwise I'll probably rather save that for somebody else. Maybe like Raiden Shogun, or I'll hide them at some point. He'll be coming not too far from now, from what it seems like. But we'll have to see about that. Of course, this will all happen. All the other stuff along with it will happen for us anyway. North America will be November 1st, right at the beginning of the month. So that's pretty funny. And we still have to remember that this is going to be the 5 week period as of these versions, right? Starting from 3.0 all the way to 3.3. So we're still well within that cycle. So it's going to be 5 weeks, and then we're going to go right into part two. So calculate carefully with your banners and stuff like that. If you plan to just try to trickle in over time, just keep that in mind. Now the story is pretty interesting looking, right? We finally have Balladeer slash the Scaramouche boss fight that's going to be happening in his Gundam essentially, and the Gundam looks really cool. I gotta say, it combines the legs later on, and then it even has what appears to be an insta kill move, like what the big Raiden Shogun has with the big slash. So pretty similar. Maybe you'll have some sort of like chance to shield yourself with something, some sort of mechanic. But although it is funny overall, because speaking of mechanics, it seems to be pretty familiar with or similar to that of Nier Automata. You have the main character, and then you have the little robot thing, kind of like a Nier, to keep constantly shooting at the robot. And you're probably will try to hit the weaknesses and stuff like that. That's pretty much how it's gonna go, which is oddly, interesting, to say the least. They definitely took some notes from Nier Automata, and it's like pretty obvious, where they kind of got that from. But that's just the way it is. I mean, you can't really copy gameplay or copyright gameplay, so that's just kind of what happens. But for the rest of it, it does look interesting. I mean, there's that scene everyone's talking about it with Nahida crying. Of course, Nilo is planning something. I don't know. Is she gonna die? I don't know. I'm not. I don't think so. But I mean, it could potentially be big. But it's probably just could be just baiting for the sake of like juicing up the trailer. I'm not too sure what they're cooking, but I'm I think Nilo is safe. I think she'll be fine. Although by that point she already is playable anyway, So I don't know. I mean, anything could go, I guess. There's also been hints about who Alhaitham really is, so I'm not gonna say it here, of course, exactly. But for those who know, you know what I'm probably talking about. So I'd like to see some more hints on Alhaitham. It'll be pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure we'll find out by 3.3 because that's the end of the the whole the 5 week cycle thing. So maybe they'll get out all the juicy details by then. Speaking of bosses, of course, we get the Dendro Cube. The hypostasis for Dendro is coming out for 3.2, which means yes, you do have to farm that boss for the materials for Nahida if you want to level her up real quickly. So I've been saving up on, I think it should work, but I have been saving up on fragile resin, so I should just be able to pump that up, and be able to power through the dendro hypostasis as much as possible, and hopefully our luck is good so that we get most of the time, we get 3 of the material, whatever the boss material instead of 2, right? Hopefully luck is on our side so that way we can level up Nahida as quickly as we can in one go and really try her out. I already have all her artifacts ready with all elemental mastery. I even have a weapon for her ready. I have Mapamare, and of course there's the Favonius Codex, just in case, just to see, right? If her elemental mastery is good, I say just pump it up somewhere else, right? So energy recharge could be valuable because that goes with everyone else, right? With those white energy particles, right? But there's just going to be plenty of experimenting for sure what the best 4-star weapon will be. For right now, look, I would like to try the Map of Mare because that's what I have for right now, and I'm going to try it out for myself for Nahida. If I get her, that is. Of course, there are other events, including the Pokemon fungus thing. It's pretty funny, but that's just what it is to me anyway. It even kind of evolves a little bit. It raises their skills up or whatever. Seems to be cute, but it's gonna go away. So that's just kind of how it goes in Genshin. There of course the adventure trials. Of course, there's it's like choruses and stuff like that. It's gonna be just another event to me, kind of like what the current event is, sort of, except you're probably not collecting the animal stuff, the coins. You're just gonna go through the obstacles in this trial. That's pretty much it. Not only the Dendro hypostasis is coming, there's going to be a rerun event of sorts with the rest of the hypostasis, so you can take on challenges and just earn the primo gems that way. You have like perks and abilities to burn during these fights, so depending on the difficulty of things, you do want to be careful when to use these abilities and perks for these hypostasis bosses. Another rerun coming back is the outside of the canvas, which is where you just take pictures and stuff like that. It's just kind of just there to get more primo gems. It's just another mini game event, and that is essentially it. There's not much to go off of really. So pretty much TLDR, not much like big came out of it because of the stuff that's been on the internet already. Unfortunately, this is kind of how it is nowadays with Genshin Impact. A lot of just information just gets put on the internet way earlier before these presentations even come out. So it just kind of came as expected. Very basic announcements like the banner, story, and minigame events. That's just pretty much it. Not much else really. That's just kind of what it is. I mean, even if you don't know the character, you just follow this like basic format, but they kind of fill out the time with all that talking with the VAs. It's like not even like too engaging. Again, I would say, but kind of how it goes. Again, I rather stick with or want to see the developers talking, but maybe because it does take a higher production or in more time, these are just like pretty, a little more rapid fire, so you can get that out there. Just have the VAs talk for them, kind of fire and forget almost. So yeah, that's just kind of how it goes. I definitely do look forward to the story, especially with the fight with Scaramouche. It makes me wonder though. I mean, especially with what's going on with the banners, right? So it will be interesting to see where the story concludes with that, of course, with the whole Scaramouche thing, and of course, Dottore has some sort of involvement with it. That's for us to see once this update rolls around and all that. So yeah, again, this update will be starting on for us, November 1st, and then everyone else can get theirs ahead of us. We're like one of the last ones, if not the last one, to get that major update anyway. So that is essentially it for all the major stuff. I definitely do look forward to Nahida. I've been saving up for her for quite a bit ever since. Well, who was the big character that went in on? Oh yeah, Kokomi. That was pretty interesting. And then I got Sinnoh along the way. That was totally not in the plan, but it happened because, yeah. Which unfortunately that could have been Nahida because I didn't care too much for Sinnoh because that could have meant that I could have gotten Nahida's C1 that much easier. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully we can get Nahida early so that way um, we can get the C1 with relative ease, but we'll see about that. Anyways, that's all for the 3.2 live stream and my thoughts about it. So, what do you guys think of it? I think it was okay overall. Even though, we've been looking forward to this Dendro Archon for a very long time at this point. Yeah, even without the leaks, it's just stuff that you really expected. Um, you know, there was all those like really nice updates with the anime and everything from the last one. Yeah, so it's kind of what it is. So, anyways, like to see those comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate you guys, and consider joining the membership on this channel to support the channel. But also, you get the emotes and stuff like that for $4 a month. So I really appreciate you guys if you do consider doing so. But anyways, either way, thank you very much for this Hawke Talks episode featuring the 3.2 live stream and my thoughts about it. So again, thank you very much. I'll see you all in the next video. Sean out.